Alright, so what I have here is I have my evaporator core unit, and I just got it set up over here on the bench, and I just wanted to show you a couple of things here. Let me turn this like this. What I've done in preparation here is I've mounted the two fittings for the heater hose here, and I've mounted on this mounting bracket here that they give you in the kit. So I've got the O-rings in here, and I have these fittings on and ready to go. Got my mounting bracket on there, and this unit here is going to bolt up against the firewall, and we're going to connect our heater hoses here, and we're going to connect our AC line to this fitting and to this fitting. So that'll be the next thing we get going on. And then once we get that done, then we can start plumbing this in. Howdy folks, Troy with V-Twins, the V8s. I'm back. It's a fresh day. I've got my project going along pretty nicely. Just want to give you a little recap as to what we have done and where we are going. Got the evaporator core all mounted here. I got all my hoses running down through the kick panel and out through the firewall. The block off plates in. My hoses are all connected on this side of the firewall anyways. Got my block off caps over the astro ventilation vents to cap them off because we're not using that. Got my defroster vents mounted to the inner cowl. So everything's looking pretty good in here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole for the drain on the evaporator core. We'll get that done today, and we'll start working on finishing up on this install, getting the dash back in, the vents, the hoses, the wiring, all that type of stuff. I'm going to bring the camera over. I'll show you what's going on the inside, and I'll bring you out to show you what's going on the outside. Okay, so here we are on the inside. You can see that I've got my evaporator core all mounted. My hoses are running through here. You can't see the other ones because it's tucked in behind, but if I bring you down over here, you can see where I put my plate in. Got all my hoses going through here. My block off plates for my astro ventilation, and my ducts for the defroster. I'm going to bring you outside. I'll show you what this looks like on the outside. Okay, so from out here on the outside, you can see where I removed that outer housing, put this block off plate, got my two heater hoses coming out the bottom, and my two AC hoses coming out the top. Got my block off plate over there, got my hoses rudimentally routed and laid up on the engine. This way here, the next phase will be to really kind of get this where I want it to be and plumb our hoses on. So what I'm going to do is probably focus on the inside of the car and get that drain done, and then work on getting the dash reinstalled. Okay, so here's our evaporator core, and if you look underneath here, this is where our drain is. So you gotta come from straight away 1 inch down and 2.5 inches over to make your hole. So I did that. Subsequently, I made several holes. So I drill a 1/8 hole, then a 3/8 hole, then my 1/2 inch hole. Then I took a die grinder, deburred the hole, so I get my hose through there without damaging it in any way. I sealed this up with some urethane. I'm going to show you the outside. Okay, so now I'm over here on the outside. This is what my hose is. Now I got it sealed with this urethane. I'm going to end up trimming this hose, but I don't want to, I like the position it's in right now, so I'm going to leave it like this until this urethane dries. This is where my plate is here. I took and I sealed the whole inside of this edge. It's sealed from the back side already, but I just finished this edge off here just because I thought it would look a little bit cleaner. So I got that all set. I sealed up a couple of these holes where the outer fan motor shroud was, and out here is pretty much good to go. And now we're going to start getting ready to work on the dash. Okay, so here's our dashboard, and I got it set up here on the bench, and what we need to do is we need to cut 2 inches off the back of this, and they give you this slick little piece right here that that once you get this cut off is going to pop on the back of this here. So I'm going to mark this out. I'm going to cut 2 inches off the back of this, and then I'm going to attach this. You need to do this for the clearance here for the evaporator core inside the dash, because now everything is inside the car, nothing is outside the car, so you need that additional room. So I'm going to get that cut, and then I'll get that installed, and I'll show you how that came out, and then we'll just continue to work on this dash until we're ready to put it back in. Okay folks, so I'm back here and I got my project going on. The next step was to get this dash ready to go back in. So what they have you do is cut 2 inches off of the back of the glove box area. This glove box is a molded plastic piece. It's part of the actual dash itself. So you have to take and cut the back of it off about 2 inches, and then they give you this plastic cap to put back over it. So I cut it, and then I filed it and sanded it and everything, got it nice and smooth, and I put it back on here. But they wanted you to put it on with some little metal clips. I didn't like it, so what I did was I took and I mixed up some urethane, and I urethane this on here so it's nice and clean and on there and sealed, and nothing will fall through, no dust or any of that crap. I didn't like the unfinished look of it. So I got that done. I got my finished part in the front of the dash, and I got my vintage air control unit on here for the control of the unit. So this is going to be all set to go in. I do have a set of ducts that are going to go down here in the center. But I want to put the dash in place because I do have an under dash tack and gauge assembly that the customer has mounted there. So I want to take a look at where that is and where these AC ducts will be so that they don't interfere with each other. I didn't want to just arbitrarily mount the vents down here and then have a problem when I went to put my gauge package and stuff like that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the camera over, I'll show you what I've done, and then I'm going to get the dash fitted in the car. So here's my dash piece here that I took and glued this on after I cut the back section of this box off of here. And like I said, I took some urethane and I urethaned it on so it's nice and clean. And if you come around to the other side here, I'll flip this dash up. Now you can see now on the inside, it all looks nice and clean in there. And then I remounted my Chevrolet piece here, and this is the vintage air control unit. And I've just left the wiring harness tucked on the back here, and then I can route that once I get it in the car. So I'm going to mount this dash in the car, and then I can take and figure out where down here on this bottom area where I want to mount my my lower vents. I'm going to use the Astro ventilation vents here that I already have all set up with the adapters. We did that earlier, and we're good to go. So I'm going to get this fitted, and then I'll come back on camera. I'll show you it fitted in there, and we'll work on getting the lower vents put in.